What's up, Psn family? It's your two favorite brothers, and we back with another video.
I was really pissed to smack you right now. I'm not even gonna hold you, Chief.
Okay, hold on. You don't hit me.
You're touching me.
I don't hit you.
You're touching me.
I'm talking about slapping.
You're touching me, though.
If you don't hit me, I don't hit you.
I didn't touch you at all, and the video just started.
I'm not touching you.
And as always, it's gonna be a banger. Why are you touching me?
I'm not touching you.
You just poked me 5 times.
If you don't hit me, I don't touch you, deal?
You already touched me.
I'm saying,
so you already violated.
Okay.
Tell me why we're here, man. I'll smack you right now.
We want to talk about Jordan Rexton. If it's in the game.
If it's not. It has not been confirmed that it is in the game.
How will it affect rep? Now, for most of us who play Park is 3v3, 2v2. A whole lot easier to rep up because obviously you get the ball way more than you will with 5v5. Now, if the Jordan Rexton is there, how does it affect your rep? Will it be like 2K18, where you get way more rep because you're playing 5v5? Because the game knows you won't get the ball as much. Or will it still be like Park, where it's kind of even, and you won't get as much if you're not performing that well? So will it suck if you're one of those players that's not getting the ball?
Or be like 2K17, where you had to get a good grade to get the max amount of rep as possible.
But do we want that back, though?
Well, it depends, because...
Okay, well, hold on. Remember how in 17, if you got an A+, that was the max rep that you could get?
Right.
Don't you think you deserve way more rep than what the game gives you at an A+ if you're putting in the work?
Depends on what that means. Okay, because in 18, you had to get the ball and you had to score as many points as possible and do everything, and everything was about you. But in 2K17, you could share the ball, you could set screens, you can get rebounds, you can get steals, and pretty much collectively you'd get an A. Whereas 18, it was pretty much you had the ball the whole game. So it depends. Me personally, I don't want to have to score 30 points just to get the max amount of rep. I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is for 2K17, you get an A+. Say A+ was only 0.2%. If you went at Park and you scored 15 points, but you also had 4 assists. How was that fair to only give you 0.2, but you went crazy in that game? So don't you feel like you deserve... I feel like the new system for 2K18 works. I think it does work, because if you just give an A+, it's essentially saying like, okay, you could just be a glass cleaner and just get rebounds all game. You don't score, you just get rebounds. There's more to basketball than just one specific thing. It's like being a slasher. If you're just dunking the ball the whole entire game, don't you think that if you're dunking, getting highlight dunks, you're crossing people, you're making smart plays, and you get an A+, but you only get 0.5. In 2K18, it rewards you for how good you play. So if you get a 15K game, that could be like 0.7, 0.8, instead of just getting 0.4, which is just getting an A+.
Okay.
So I feel like you get way more in 2K18 than what you get in previous 2Ks from 16 and 17.
Okay. But how would they balance that out? What would get you that max amount as high as possible?
Well, it depends.
There's always a set number. Like in 2K18, during the 98 bar, 80 to 90K was like 0.4, 0.5. So how would they set an exact number that could balance between Park and Rec Center? Okay,
if we're thinking about the Rec Center, we have to think it's 5v5. Okay. So people won't get the ball as much as they would in Park, and you can't get as many games in Rec Center that you do in Park. So they have to try to accumulate as many games you play in Park in, let's say, an hour. They have to accumulate that for Rec Center for you playing one game that could be 25, 30 minutes.
Also, should you get rep? So you know how like in Walk On in 2K18, how people would quit and you end up playing against bots?
Right.
How would that work? Because you know a lot of people were abusing that when the game first came out.
There has to be some type of feature that can read.
Is there going to be a cap on that, or?
Well, I mean, there has to be a feature that can actually read if people were, number one, if they were playing in the first place, that people were not boosting. So it has to be a feature that can read if people were playing in the first place. It also has to be a feature that says, okay, they quit in the middle of the game, like in like the third quarter. So now, yes, you should receive. But if everyone quits in the first quarter, no.
Should the game just end right there?
The game should just end, and you just get the rep that you got that quarter.
Okay. That doesn't seem bad.
I don't feel like that's bad.
I mean, that doesn't sound bad to me, but it's just like people were abusing that in 2K18. It's like they were playing full quarter games against bots.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If the Jordan Rec Center has more rep than Park, is that a problem?
It's gonna be a problem.
Why?
Well, for one, Park depends on how many games you get an hour. So if I were to play 10 Park games and only play one rec game, there's no reason why I should get more rep in a rec game than I have playing 10 Park games. That doesn't logically make sense. because I'm getting games quicker more than just playing one game. So if I play 10 park games and I'm averaging between 0.4 and 0.6, 0.7, there's no reason why I should play one rec game and my stats are not really that good, but I'm still able to get 0.6 just because I played a rec game, just because the game is that long.
Well, that's what I'm saying. With the 2K17 and 16 system, you get an A+ for doing nothing.
Right.
So in 17, if you were a glass cleaner, it was very, very easy to rep up in 17 with centers. The reason why all you have to do is grab the board, pass it out, and do nothing else.
Or just set a screen.
You really don't have to work that hard if you're a glass cleaner. Now, in 2K18, I will say that it was a little against the centers this year, especially like if you were a center that really couldn't do anything. The best center to try to rep up with this year was either a pure stretch or an athletic rebounder. Those are the two best builds to use to try to hit 99 this year.
Well, centers actually got nerfed in 18.
Right, because they were getting too many points.
Right, you had Beast Mode, who was the first 90 overall, who was averaging 100K with ease, and then they nerfed it, but they never went back to fix it.
But in Pro-Am, the centers were getting too much rep. They were getting way too much rep for small basic things.
Before or after the patch?
I'm talking about before the patch.
Yeah, before the patch. I mean, but then again, they never equaled it out for guards and centers. They just made it for all guards, which is why it took centers longer to hit 99. If we were to distinguish rep between park and rec, what would be the criteria for centers? Is it depending on your role? Is it depending on your performance? What would it depend on?
It has to depend on your performance and your archetype. There's no way that you can have centers that are only setting screens all game, but they're not getting any boards, they're not scoring off pick and roll, they're not doing pick and pop, and they're getting a bunch of points just for setting screens. It has to be number one, your archetype, and it also has to be your performance. If you are a stretch and all you're doing is shooting threes, but you're not screening, you're hitting boards, and you're not playing defense, you shouldn't get a 20K game or a 15K game for that. That is not 15K. If you're only shooting, if you're only scoring, that is not a good performance.
So what you're saying is that there should be a cap on it.
There has to be.
So if you're only shooting threes and you're not doing anything else, there should be a cap on your amount of points because you are only, like, your XP for that game because you're only shooting, but you're not doing anything else.
It's kind of broken if you can just take limitless range, and normally when you get the attribute screen and you just take one specific thing and you rock with that, and there's no limitation to that. So say there's limitless range and this pure stretch keeps shooting threes. He ends up hitting 15 threes in that game. So he ends up getting like 18K for just limitless range alone.
And progress towards badges too.
That's not how basketball works. That's not how this thing should work. You shouldn't just get points for doing one thing. If you are a pure stretch, you have to work out there. If you're a glass cleaner, should you just get the max points for just getting rebounds all game? Should you get 20K points for just getting rebounds?
No.
No, because we're talking about offense and defense.
As a glass cleaner, you should pretty much be dominant in the paint, which means you should be able to block people. You should be able to get rebounds. You should also get well defended plays. Well defended plays, bruiser from screens, hard hits, all that. It should be a combination of everything, not just you just getting rebounds. Like, it shouldn't work like that. I can agree with.
Right. I mean, the reason why we're not speaking on guards is because, again, guards have always been balanced. I mean, if you're playing good as a guard, you're using pick and roll maestro, dimer, flashy passer,
dribble drive success,
floaters, Euro steps, acrobats, all of that stuff is evened out.
But I kind of feel like it caters to guards. I kind of feel like it caters to guards.
Oh, you can definitely agree that it caters to guards. We can say that it caters to guards because most people this year were guards that were 99. So there was a bunch of 99 guards and very minimum centers that were 99.
And you had pure sharps that were guards averaging 100K a game doing actually less than a playmaker.
Right.
And I'm still trying to piece that one.
It has to change from 18. I will say that. But do I want it to go back to 17? No. But I do want a little bit of the 17 system to work for the Jordan Rec Center. I just don't want it to be ridiculous to where you go to Jordan Rec Center and nobody's at the park anymore. Everybody's in Rec Center because you're getting 10 times more rep in the Rec Center. But you also have to remember, you have to perform in the Rec Center. But if you're playing 5v5 with randoms and you're not getting the ball, or on defense, the person that you're guarding isn't getting the ball, how do you get points? That's the whole point of this video. So again, if you're playing 5v5 and you're playing Pro-Am, there's a walk-on. There's a lot of people that never hit 99 playing walk-on or Pro-Am because guess what? 5-out exists. So at 5-out, you essentially don't do anything.
If you're not the person with the ball 24/7,
right?
If you're not the person with the ball, if you're just spotting up in the corner or spotting up at the wing,
It looks stupid.
Yeah, you're pretty much not getting anything.
I mean, so it kind of makes me wonder. Do you go into the Jordan Rec Center without a squad? Do you go into if you're trying to do anything with rep, like you say you set out the year, I want to hit 97 overall this year. Or not even 97 overall. Let's say you just want to hit, if it's
95.
2K17 overall, 2K17 Rep Center again, I want to hit SS4. How do you do that in the Jordan Rec Center without a team? I mean, it's going to feel like it's impossible to do it with randoms again.
Or even then, you have a team, but how would you configure a balance in the ball between everybody where everybody can get points? But when it comes to playing 5v5, whether it's rec or walk-on, the guard has the ball predominantly 80% of the time.
So they're going to always get their rep.
Right.
Guards are going to always get their rep.
How can you differentiate the rep for everybody else, for all four players? I mean, all four of the other players. And everybody, and it's even playing field for everybody. 2K
has to make it to where the rep system is even for Park and Rec Center and Pro-Am. Not everybody should be going to Pro-Am to go get rep because you don't get that much rep in Park. It shouldn't work like that.
Right.
It should be even. So if I play 10 games in Park, which is normally the right number for Park games, so it's like about 10 games an hour for Park, and one game of Pro-Am is 25-30 minutes.
Right.
So 2 games an hour of Pro-Am, 10 games of Park. So that's how it should always equal out.
Yeah.
It should never be like, oh snap, you go to Jordan Rec Center and it's like playing 4 games in 1 hour.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that.
Then you're gonna have people like get the easiest rep in Rec Center. Like, no, because then also it'll be a bunch of people in the Rec Center ball hogging, not passing, rebound, like literally competing with you on your own team. You got a pure athletic trying to out rebound you, and you're a glass cleaner. It seems like he's boxing you out on your own team. You got a dude that's like, just keep, every time y'all say, don't set double screens, both of them. Like, it would get chaotic.
That was kind of a strong screen.
You like that?
I like that. Do it again.
I just feel like it would just get chaotic, and I feel like at this point, I hope that the Jordan Rec Center is much more fixed than 2K18's Pro-Am and Walk-On.
I can also add that I would feel the only reason you should get more rep than me if I were to play Park in the Rec Center is if you had an amazing game.
Right.
You scored like 60 to 70 points. You had like 15 to 20 assists, 5 steals. Like you were stuffing your stats.
Yeah.
But if you just have like 25 points or 16 points and like 8 assists, 3 steals, there's no reason why you should be getting more reps than me in Park, and I'm playing 10 games and you're only playing 1.
I think the rep system needs to be fixed with each mode, meaning 2v2, 3v3, 5v5. They all have to have different reps for each one.
Okay.
What I mean is, if you're playing 2v2, most of the time you won't give the other team the ball if you're 21-0 skunking them. Something that me and you do all the time. You know what I'm saying? If you're 21-0 skunking every team and you're only playing offense, there needs to be a separate rep system for 2v2, because on 3v3 you have to play both offense and defense.
Okay.
Same thing with 5v5, but 5v5 has more people on the court. You can't give the same rep for 3v3 that you would in 2v2 because those are 2 different things. You don't play defense on 2v2s a lot of the time.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So it's like if you're playing 5v5, you get a lot of points, or 3v3, you get a lot of points for doing the defensive, like playing well defended.
You're playing offense and defense, whether it's 2v2.
You're just playing a lot. You're playing a lot of offense, especially if you're nice in 2v2. So you should get more points on offense that you would accumulate normally on defense, and then you should get points for 21-0 on the team. If you're 21-0 a team, you should get special points for that.
I agree. Can we say that you should also get points for getting an ankle breaker too? Like how
no, because
how it's like dribble drive assists, like how you can get like extra points for ankle
for making people fall.
Okay.
I said if you make somebody fall, you get extra points.
Because they also said that
no, I'm sorry. Making somebody fall and finishing the play. If you make somebody fall and score, that's a highlight play.
Okay,
yes, you should get points for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And with 5v5, same thing. But obviously, it would be, those moments will happen a lot less because it's 5v5.
That way, it'll prevent dribble guards to just not spam just ankle breakers, which they also said ankle breakers are going to be harder to get this year.
I hope it is hard to get this year.
I would hope too.
Let us know what you guys think about this idea. How you feel the Jordan Rec Center is going to work with the rep system? How is it going to affect everybody? Will everybody just go to the Jordan Rec Center because you're going to get more rep in Park? Or will you stay in Park to get most of your reps so you can hit the top overall that you want to hit?
And if you are going to be playing the Rec Center, are you going to be playing with randoms or with a squad? Let us know in the comment section. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at JustinLHazzard
and TremellDHazzard.
And make sure y'all like this video, share it, for all those stage players that keep complaining and keep saying that Rec is coming back even though it hasn't been confirmed. And yeah, you got anything else to say?
That's it. Keep God first, stay blessed. It's Trent. I just said, don't hit me. I'm not gonna hit you.
Why are you always touching me? You be touching me so much, bro. Get off of me. Don't touch me.
You got a problem, and I don't know what your problem is.
Poke me. What's up? Poke me like that.
Real niggas on my team, y'all. Fetty Wap left side, can't see y'all. Can't be y'all. Nigga, my whole squad ready to ride. Riding round, but be ready to die. Y'all don't gotta decide whether or not you approve of this. You ain't gotta make room for this. I Bermuda shit, bring it down. Can you hear me now? You couldn't relate. I bet they all feel me now. The ruler.